And I got a couple more here. This one's called Dean Leaves His Apartment. Case note, supervised outing, Monday, March 14th. I need cigarettes, he says. We can get them at the smoke shop on the counter, but he would prefer to take the bus downtown so he can tell his favorite street preacher how Jesus saves us all from moldy wheat bread. He shows me the cut on his right hand. How'd you get that cut, Dean? He says he realized last Thursday night that he ought to be a violin player because Marnie really likes guys who play an instrument, and he didn't have anything at his place, so he wanted to grab something from the window display of Joe's music shop, but it turns out the glass is pretty sharp, and he cut up his hand so badly he couldn't hold the violin right, so he put it back and left it there. He likes Marnie. She's like a bruise, he tells me. I don't know how that could be a good thing, but he says she always looks slightly pained. And even though she's yellowing kind of around the edges, it's comfortable to know that she's there in a weird way. Dean's eyes glaze over, and he suddenly decides that pants are for losers. And he's definitely not a loser, because his homemade soap can heal all kinds of diseases. And I'm chasing him as he runs after the bus, shaking his fists, hollering about Sherry, the communist vegan who lived in a shack just outside the Gaslamp district. She played a mean hand of poker, but she wouldn't kiss him. And I'm trying to tell him that police officers get paid to enforce social norms, not judge him. They're not going to care about his ability to heal cold sores if he won't keep his clothes on in the business district. And please, I'll buy him a new shirt if he'll just put his goddamn pants back on. He stops running. He makes eye contact with me for the first time that day. We're all just coming and going, he says. I need a cigarette. It'll make me feel better.